You guys have 3 topics, with the first topic being Tim Duncan versus Kevin Garnett. You guys got 1:30 each. Big Ox, I'm gonna start off with you. You're gonna start round 1. Let's get into it. Big Ox, your time starts when you do.
Okay, no doubt. So we all know that the late 90s to the mid 90s to about the late 2000s was hell for the power forwards, hell for the big man. It was hell on the block. We had guys like C. Webb, Rasheed, Shaq, Dirk, obviously Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett, who we are talking about. I want to run down some stats. We're going to start off with some stats for y'all. Against C. Webb, Tim Duncan played him 25 times, won those matchups to 16-9. Against Rasheed, they played 49 times. Tim Duncan won those matchups 21-17 in the regular season, 8-3 in the playoffs, averaging 19-12. The only person that Tim Duncan and these guys lost to in the regular season matchups was Shaquille O'Neal, and that was 14-18, but 15-15 in the playoffs. He still averaged 24 and 12.5 rebounds. Now, against Dirk, who they played 90 games, Dirk and Tim Duncan played 90 games. He went 33-22 in the regular season, 18-15 in the playoffs. Where in the playoffs, we seen Dirk dominate KG in 2002. We all saw that. You can't pretend like you didn't. Against Dirk, Tim Duncan averaged 21-11. And against KG, let's talk about that matchup. They played 52 games against each other, where Tim Duncan went 33-19 in the regular season and 6-2 in the playoffs, averaging 19.3 points and 12 rebounds against KG. You know what I'm saying? That's not fair. That obviously shows who's dominant.
All right. Big Ox just took it off. He came through. OgDaBeast is on you. Topic 1, round 1. Time starts when you do.
Well, to be honest with you, we all know who on the hierarchy we talking about power forwards. We got to go Tim Duncan strictly because of the accolades. But if we talking about straight basketball, I have to go with KG, right? KG was better from mid-range. He was a better defender, arguably, because of the Defensive Player of the Year. Tim Duncan obviously does not have one. So if you want to make a legitimate case for Tim Duncan to be a better defender, I think we could split hairs with that. But if we look at the situation, that's something I want to point the finger at, right? Like I said, coming into the situation, Tim Duncan is obviously higher on the hierarchy simply because of the accolades and what he accomplished, not even statistically, just what he accomplished accolades-wise. So if we were to put Kevin Garnett in that situation, who's to say that he wouldn't be just as good, if not better, considering he's actually the better basketball player, right? Better from mid-range, better from 3, better playmaker than Tim Duncan could ever dream about being. Pretty much every aspect. And we're talking about a guy who spent 14 years with a bad organization whose number 2, number 3 option was Wally Zerbiak and Latrell Sprewell. 1-time All-Star for Latrell Sprewell with that organization, 1-time All-Star for Sam Cassell. That was his 2nd and 3rd option during his tenure in Minnesota. Still managed to get them to a Western Conference Finals and still managed to win an MVP in that situation. The moment he got a top 75 player in Paul Pierce, we saw what happened. Kevin Garnett instantly, immediately out the gate was an NBA champion. Arguably could have won Finals MVP at that. Give me KG all day long.
All right, y'all. First round, they cooking up. We're going to go ahead and get into the second round. Big Ox, it's on you, and your time starts whenever you choose to.
Well, first of all, respect Wally Zerbiak, and for damn sure respect Latrell Sprewell. But I'm happy you said let's talk ball. We got the stats out the way. Let's get to it, okay? I know for a fact OgDaBeast is going to try to convince y'all that we're supposed to cut KG some slack because he came in a baby, because he didn't go to college. That's his problem, not Tim Duncan's. Tim Duncan came ready to ball, stepped in the NBA, a grown man, 21, 12, and 2.5 blocks. That's his rookie season. Took the team to the second round in the playoffs. They beat the Suns the first round and lost to the Jazz in the second round, a team that would end up going to the finals and losing against the Bulls. Next year, he came back, and there was no sophomore slump. He repeated the same stats, came back with it. And you know what he did that year? Y'all already know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Beat KG and the Wolves in the first round 3-1. Swept Kobe and Shaq the next round, and then went on to sweep Rasheed and the Portland Trailblazers the next round. Then went against the Knicks against Latrell Sprewell, Marcus Camby, Kurt Thomas, Chris Dudley, all these guys, and won the championship his sophomore year. Not only did he win the championship, but then he got finals MVP his second year. No excuses for coming out of high school. If you hear, you get down with the men. He came in ready to ball, had a complete bag already, all the moves and everything. We're going to get into that round 3. Let's do some hoop talk for sure.
We talking hoops now. OG the Beast. I know this is what you do fluently. It's on you, my man. Round 2.
I mean, well, since we're talking about hoops, I mean, we could sit here and talk about Tim Duncan's career as a whole and in general. I noticed how you mentioned the beginning and the middle stages of his career, because Tim Duncan was pretty pedestrian towards the back end or the second half of his career, even while still being in his prime. Not to mention that he conceded a finals MVP to a top 75 teammate, which only happened one other time in NBA history. Let's be honest here. Averaging 18 and 10 as a top 10 player of all time is pretty pedestrian. You cannot name me another top 10 player of all time who had the luxury to be able to average 18 and 10 on a 50-plus win team, and still manage to get yourself to the Western Conference Finals and beyond. You cannot name one. Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, all these guys had to be those guys in that situation in order to thrive. Tim Duncan was more of a product of a system and a scheme in place by Popovich, one of the greatest coaches of all time. He was not really a dominant basketball player for a long stretch of duration of his career. Let's keep it a bean here. 18 and 10 is not going to do the cut. He never averaged 20 points per game outside of the 2007 season and beyond, since he played in the National Basketball Association, right? Kevin Garnett did not have that luxury. He had to be a dog night in and night out. And the minute you pair him with another top 75 player, we saw what happened. NBA champion, defensive player of the year. He was able to be the focal point and the defensive anchor of a championship team, and could have won multiples had it not been for injuries. So let's keep it a buck. Tim Duncan was a product of a system, and Kevin Garnett was a product of being a dog. Point blank, period.
Hey, man, I told y'all. I tried to tell y'all. All right, we got round 3. It's on you, Ox. Time starts when you do.
Man, like I said, we're going to get into some more of that bag talk, but you just said that Tim Duncan was pedestrian, a man that came into the league and never missed the playoffs, went to the playoffs every single year of his career, 15-time All-Defense, 15-time All-NBA, 15 All-Star games, Rookie of the Year, 3 times Finals MVP, 2 times MVP, and 5 rings, and you called that man pedestrian? The disrespect is crazy. I expect more from you, OG the Beast. I expect more from you. Now let's get back to the bad talk. I'm talking about somebody who had a whole career where people said, "Oh, it's boring." But I only think that's people that didn't watch Tim Duncan. Somebody that was quick. I'm talking about 6'11", 250 pounds, a lightning quick first step. Y'all think he's unathletic, but he came into the league catching bodies, right hand, left hand. A guy that can take a smaller guy down on the block, turn over the right shoulder, turn over the left shoulder. I'm not talking about a drop step, which is more of a reverse pivot. I'm talking about a spin move, a front pivot. He's so strong that when he spins off of that, guys are just stuck watching him dunk on their teammates. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Tim Duncan, a guy that came out knocking down 19-footers, knocking down 17-footers. I know OG the Beast. I know you're going to tell him that KG had guard handles, but did y'all ever see Tim Duncan open up 20 feet from the rim, take 2 dribbles right, cross, and go and dunk the basketball? I'm talking about a 6'11" dude with a 1-count pull-up. He made people want to use the bank shot. You talking about pedestrian? Are you crazy?
All right, Ox, I had to mute you. Oh, OG, you done turned him up. All right, OG, it's on you. Round 3 of topic 1. Y'all, we still got 2 more topics to go after this, but OG, your round 3 starts right now.
You damn right I called him pedestrian. I didn't call the front half of his career pedestrian because Tim Duncan, in my opinion, is a top 10 player of all time. But if you pay attention and look at the back end of his career, he was able to win championships, able to win 50-plus games in a Western Conference, a tough Western Conference, might I add, while being not carried by his teammates, but affiliated with a group of guys that was collectively used as a unit, a scheme put in place by Greg Popovich that worked. I'm not going to say without Tim Duncan because we definitely needed him, but let's just be honest, right? And Kobe Bryant, for example, 2009 had Pau Gasol with him. Kobe averaged 25 a night in the NBA Finals. Pau Gasol averaged 18 and 11. Kobe walked away with the Finals MVP. Tim Duncan, on the other hand, in 2007 against the woeful Cavaliers led by LeBron James, right? What did Go look at what Tim Duncan averaged in that NBA Finals. The same thing Pau Gasol averaged, 18 and 11. Those were second option numbers for Kobe Bryant, right? While Tony Parker averaged 25, 5, and 5 and walked away with the Finals MVP. Is Tony Parker a top 75 player in the league of all time? No, he is not. Tony Parker is a perennial All-Star and a future Hall of Famer, right? Which is the luxury that Tim Duncan had to have on his squad. But who in the top 10 can you name can average 18 points, 10 or 11 rebounds, and still walk away with an NBA championship and claim to be the best player on their team? Give me Kevin Garnett, and I don't think there's any doubt about it when it comes to shooting his basketball inside of the hoop. Let's be honest here.
Woo! Hey, that's the round. That's how you debate. That's how you come up here and go toe-to-toe, mano-a-mano. Go ahead and run the poll right now. You guys let me know who you are taking, OgDaBeast with Kevin Garnett or Big Ox with Tim Duncan. All right, here we go. We are back on topic 2. This topic, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Who has the best young core? OgDaBeast, you will be kicking this one off. Your time starts when you do.
Yeah, I got the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I don't even think it's close. Like, Memphis has a nice, solid foundation, I think, but when we talking about development and we talking about building a franchise in a winning situation, I'm never going to bet against Sam Presti. I think he's one of the greatest executives to this point, right? To me, the greatest executive died a few months back or last month, Jerry West, but Sam Presti is right next to him when it comes to it. If you look at what he did with the maturation of Oklahoma City when they transformed from the Supersonics with Kevin Garnett, putting Russell Westbrook together and the whole nine and going through the whole Kevin Garnett Kevin Durant leaving and having to rebuild again, retool again, getting a Paul George, that didn't work. So you trade Paul George and get pieces like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think to be able to bring the groceries home, now the players and the coaches got to deal with the product that's on the court, and they got to cook it up. But Sam Presti has done an excellent job bringing the products on, or bringing the groceries home, right? Right now, you're looking at a team with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you got Chet Holmgren, you got Jalen Williams, you have Lou Dort, you got a lot of solid young pieces that they can move forward with. And the maturation and development of this team has always been top tier. I think maybe probably the best in the league. So when it comes to the player development, drafting, free agent acquisitions, and making the right trades and being in the right place at the right time, I'm never going to bet against Sam Presti, right? He's the best in the league, in my opinion, hands down.
All right, there you go. OgDaBeast just concluded his first round. Big Ox, it is back on you. You got the Memphis Grizzlies. Your time starts now.
Okay, no doubt. Fair point with the executives. I think Taylor Jennings is a very good coach. I think he's good at developing players, and I've been seeing him do it for a while. But I want to talk more so about the players. When you say a young core, to me, I'm thinking 24 and under, maybe 25 and under, right? So the guys that are 24 and under on the Memphis Grizzlies are Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Gigi, Scottie Pippen Jr., Zach Edey, Santi Aldama, and Jake LaVaria. I think personally, I can have a starting 5 out of that group with Scottie at the 1, Ja at the 2, Gigi, Triple J, and Zach Edey. I think that team would compete right there. And that's the 24 and under club, right? So let's talk about the 2 obvious guys right here that I named. The 2 obvious guys I named, Ja Morant and Triple J. Ja Morant, I think a lot of people forget who he is. I think a lot of people forget what he's coming with. Ja Morant could easily be an MVP candidate coming up this season. You know what I mean? And that's, remind you, 24 and under. Triple J has already got a defensive player of the year. He's improving. You know what I mean? He's showing everything he can do from guarding multiple positions. He needs to improve on his rebounding, no doubt. But other than that, he does everything. He can shoot the ball, play great defense, spread the floor, and I think him and Zach Edey are going to play great together. Now go back to Ja Morant and remind y'all, this kid is 24 years old and could for sure be an MVP candidate this year.
All right, there you go. That is the conclusion of round 1. Here we go. We're getting back into round 2. OgDaBeast is back on you. Talk to us.
You mentioned how Ja Morant is clearly an MVP candidate, but ask yourself this: who's more of an MVP candidate, Ja Morant or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Ask yourself this: who do you trust more, Ja Morant or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? He's a better defender. To me, he's a better playmaker. Ja Morant may be more athletic, but to be honest with you, Shai is now entered the top 5 best basketball players in the world conversation. And who better to start your franchise with moving forward? Because the question is best young core. And I'm obviously assuming that we're talking about moving forward. If you take the big 3 from Memphis, you got Desmond Bane, you got Triple J, and you got Ja Morant. Then you take the big 3 from OKC. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You can go Lou Dort. You can go Jalen Williams here. I'll go Jalen Williams here. And then we got Chet Holmgren, right? Chet Holmgren last year was 16-8 on the year, and his rookie campaign derailed because of injuries. Should have been the year before last, but it was last year. We cool with that. I can see Chet averaging somewhere between 18 and 20 points, 8 to 10 rebounds a night. Then you got Jalen Williams, who emerged late in the season last year. He averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists on the season, along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was up for league MVP, who averaged 36 and 5 last year on the campaign. This team is poised for greatness, and I don't see anybody that can stop them. They were a surprise team last year. Nobody's seen it come and finish number 1 in the Western Conference, the toughest conference in the National Basketball Association. Let's be honest here. If we're talking about young units, you got to be going with OKC.
Okay. Big Ox, it is back on you. You ready to rebuttal? Whenever you start, your time starts.
I mean, OG, that was a fire round, but the only thing is you're deceiving the people. We're talking about a young core. You know what I'm saying? How old is SGA? 27, 20, 26, 27? I mean, he's been in the league forever. You know what I mean? I'm talking about a young core. When I said young, y'all heard me. I said 24 and under. You're talking about Lou Dort, SGA, Alex Caruso. These dudes is almost 30. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about guys that are gonna be in the NBA for another 9 to 13 years. Maybe even together for another 5, 6, 7. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about dudes that's past that young stage. So I know you thought you had an easy one, but I'm not even thinking about SGA in this conversation. You know what I mean? So look, I know I've seen a lot of people like Jack LaVaria. I'm sorry, he's a 6'8" forward. He can shoot the ball. He shot it at 34% this year. He got his minutes increased when the Memphis Grizzlies decided we want to compete. That's another thing about the Grizzlies. They're gonna compete. They're young. They're hungry. He increased his scoring from 1 year from averaging 3 points. Now he averaged 11. You know what I'm saying? The kid is improving. 0.5 assists per game one season. Last season, almost 2. That's a big improvement for a guy playing up those type of minutes. Santi Aldama, same thing. He's been improving every step of the way. So these guys that when I brought them up, guys were like, who? Look, Santi Aldama is a 6'11" shooting stretch big, real athletic, real mobile, shoots at 35% from the 3. These guys, these 2 guys, and don't forget Scottie Pippen Jr.
All right, here we go. We are heading into round 3 of this debate. You ready to go, OG?
Let's get it.
Time starts when you do.
Well, Ox, the reason why guys are saying who to the guys that you name it because those who's are completely irrelevant. Nobody cares about any of those guys that's going to be on the end of the bench. Maybe Scottie Pippen Jr. from a defensive aspect, but really, who cares? We want to know how many players does it really take to be in championship contention? How many great players on one squad do you need to be in championship contention, right? To catapult you to that top 5, top 3 best teams in the league status. You only need 2 or 3. LeBron James did it in 2020 with just him and Anthony Davis, right? And I'm telling you, the OKC Thunder right now have 3 legit ballers that will excel together. Sam Presti, I trust him to put the ingredients around these 3 players, or 4 if you count Lou Dort, who's also a young guy that can play defense and guard your best player on the perimeter, drop you down low, guard the best player in the post. I don't even care. Lou Dort just has that type of defensive paralysis. Now, we're talking about a guy in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We're talking about Jalen Williams. We're talking about Chet Holmgren. These are 4 solid young pieces that it doesn't even matter who you put around them. They will develop and they will turn into championship caliber players. And the great thing about it is they're going to do it together. They're all young. So you want to say Shai 26, 27. Yes, that's still in your prime and that's still youth. The man averaged 30 points per game last year and he ain't going nowhere. He's only getting better. To tell me that he's not still young would be letting me know that he's stuck at the level that he's at right now. And I don't believe that to be the truth. I love the acquisition of Caruso. On the defensive end, look out for OKC next year.
All right. Here we go. Ox, this is your final rebuttal. This is round 3. Do your thing, my man.
OG, once again, you keep trying to deceive the people. These guys' minutes went up. Santi and Jake both played about 23 minutes a game last year when they decided that they wanted to compete. These aren't guys that are just stuck on the end of the bench. These dudes are putting in work. 23 minutes a game, is that not significant minutes? I think it is. That's what I'm saying. Stop trying to deceive the people. You threw in Alex Caruso's name. For what? Well, I thought we was talking about a young core. Dude's my age. So what are we talking about? On top of that, I'm looking at guys like G.G. Jackson, the youngest guy that we've talked about this whole time. You know what I'm saying? He's going to continue to get better. Zach Edey, this dude is 7'4". I know a lot of people thought he was going to be sorry coming out of Purdue, and I don't know why. All right, but then you say things like, who cares about these guys? That's what development was all about. I thought you was a fan of Sam Presti. We're supposed to develop these guys that are showing significant growth in the past 2 and 3 seasons. So for you to say that, it just shows me that you don't really care about the development. You're not looking at these youngsters as a real core. You're only looking at these stars, guys that are 27, 30, 28 years old. I'm talking about 24 and under. I look at guys like J-Dub, and yeah, he's great, but there's guys that you can replace for him in the league. Paolo, Franz, Jabari Smith, Keegan Murray, Herb Jones, J-Mac, and you can get the same thing. You can't do that with Zach Edey. Where else am I going to find another big 7'4", 22 years old, not 30 like Alex Caruso? I said 22 years old. Where can you find that?
All right, y'all. That was heat. Topic 2 was fire. We're going to go ahead and get to this voting right now. All right, here we go. We on to topic 3. Topic 3 of this battle is Tracy McGrady versus James Harden in their primes, at their peaks, the best version of themselves. Who is a better scorer? Big Ox, it's back to you. You kick it off. Your time starts right now.
Come on, man. Y'all already know what time it is with me. We're talking about James Harden versus Max Sauce. Come on, man. We're talking about a 6'9" monster. Dude, super athletic, super tall, super long, strong, crazy athleticism, crazy explosion. I'm talking about a 3-level scorer. A dude that can face up and take anybody off the dribble. Not just step back threes. That's not the only thing in his bag. Talking about play on the baseline, play on the block, play from the free throw line and out. I'm talking about a shooter. Might not be the same level of shooter as James Harden, but still a hell of a shooter. We've seen Tracy McGrady explode. I'm talking about not explosion as far as athleticism, because we'll get to there. I'm talking about explode for points. It's not like he's just a quiet Paul Pierce type guy. I'm talking about a guy that can come down and take you off the dribble, get around corners, pull up with hands in his face, pull up, shoot wide open, or take you to the bucket and rise over the top and dunk on you. Finish at the rim with the trees because of his size. Something that James Harden, is questionable. Yeah, he's decent at the rim, but nothing like Tracy McGrady. You can't teach 6'9". You know what I'm saying? You can't teach 6'9" with long arms, meaning there's nothing you can do with him. You can send the double. You can have the help defense on the block. He's just going to rise up over and finish at the rim. James Harden does not have that the same ability, and it's a size thing.
All right.
Super long. That's crazy.
It's back on you, OgDaBeast. Round 1. Here goes the rebuttal. Do your thing.
To be honest with you, Ox, I'm sorry I got to do this to you, but I'm literally about to leave you with no legs to stand on, because there is absolutely no metric whatsoever that you could convey to the crowd to convince them that Tracy McGrady is a better scorer than James Harden. There's no statistic that'll stand next to you by that. There's no metric created in NBA history, no analytic that can prove that to be the case, because I have them all right here in my right hand, or right here in the right side of my membrane. Listen, James Harden was better from every aspect that you could think of. And I know it's the popular opinion to hate on James Harden right now, and everybody's been giving T-Mac a lot of love lately. Don't know where it's come from, but let's be honest. James Harden is more efficient. He shoots better from 3. He shoots better from field goal. He attacks the basket at a more efficient rate as well. Shoots the mid-range better, especially earlier in his career. Now, if you want to argue Tracy McGrady from that aspect, you can do just that. But if we're looking at it from a numbers perspective, it's not even close. He has more scoring titles. He averaged 30 points per game 3 consecutive seasons. And during that stretch, he was averaging 33.7 points per game. Tracy McGrady could never think about sniffing nowhere near about close to that number, right? 30 points per game. Do you know how many players in NBA history averaged 30 plus 3 times in their career? Not even consecutive. Harden did it 3 straight years. We ain't even got to narrow it that low. Do you know how many players in NBA history did it just 3 times in their career? Only 12. I could ramble off the 12, but I don't have enough time. But I'm going to get to some more of that in just a second. I'm not done with you yet, sir.
Wait, there's more. We got topic 3. Round 2 about to start up now. It's on you, Ox. Your time starts when you do.
You said T-Mac can never come close to sniffing scoring. I mean, he literally averaged 32.1 points per game. Like that's just factually wrong. He literally did average 32 points. And on top of that, he did this when a time when cats wasn't averaging a whole bunch of points like that. You know what I mean? James Harden did it in a more open era. The lane was more wide open. Do you know what Tracy McGrady would do in 2020, 2019, 2018? It wouldn't even be close. It was a different game. A much different game. That's why T-Mac had to have more in his bag. He couldn't rely on step backs and flailing. And you know what else he couldn't rely on, OG? He couldn't rely on foul baiting. There was 9 years, 9 years when James Harden shot 9 or more free throws per game. You know how many times that happened for Tracy McGrady? 1. This many. 9 years when he was foul baiting, 1 year when T-Mac shot more than 9 free throws per game. What does that tell you? That means you're up here arguing for a habitual flopper, a habitual free throw merchant. That's who you're arguing for, OG. You should be ashamed. I know you know better than that. I'm talking about a dude that was playing in a time when there was more people in the paint, where it was more physical, when I had to finish through contact, and still didn't shoot 10 or more free throws per game for a whole season like James Harden did. That's a guy that was trying to score, not trying to throw his arms up in the air and do all of this and flopping. You should be ashamed of yourself, OG, for taking this guy in this.
All right, Ox, I had to mute you. Your time was up. All right, it's back on you, OG. Do your thing. Your time starts when you do.
Oh, let me cook. Listen, man, you brought up free throws, and I love the fact that you brought up free throws. It really doesn't matter. Shaq said he left about 2,500 points at the damn free throw line, and he wishes he could take them all back. So that doesn't really matter. James Harden is knocking them down. And plus, he's a better free throw shooter. That's another aspect of scoring that he's better than Tracy McGrady at. You can definitely look at the numbers. Now, when you brought up that 32 points that Tracy McGrady averaged, that was cute. He did that one time. The numbers that I named, that 33.7, that was over a 3 consecutive year span for James Harden. So I took 3 seasons, averaged them up, and came up with 33.7, right? Tracy McGrady just did that for 1 season. That was 3 years for James Harden. I mentioned 12 players in NBA history averaged 30, 3 or more times in their career. We're not going to name them. But only 4 guys did it in the last 20 seasons. That was LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, of course, James Harden. I don't see T-Mac on that list anywhere, right? T-Mac had 7 years of averaging 22 plus points per game. 7. That's nice for T-Mac. But James Harden had 10 years, an entire decade, where he averaged 22 or more points per game consecutively, might I add you. So there's no metric, no set of legs that you could stand on to give me an example outside of what your eyes tell you and how your feelings make you feel that will support the fact T-Mac is a better scorer than James Harden. You have yet to give me a stat or metric that illustrates that for your argument. And until then, you lost.
Damn. All right. Round 3 of topic 3. This is the final round for you guys. Let's cook up. Big Ox, you got it.
You got me muted.
Well, hold on. Wait. Restart his time.
Yep.
All right, your time starts when you do.
Okay, cool. OG, I'm happy that you just for 3 topics in 3 rounds for each of these topics consistently repeated yourself every single time your mic was off mute. Could you come with something new, something fresh, some flavor for me? Please stop repeating yourself, dog. I don't need metrics and stats to explain to you the ability of Tracy McGrady. You know what I'm saying? I don't need metrics and stats to explain to you that he was unguardable. Super fast, 6'9". Like I told you, he can do anything. If you're watching these two dudes play basketball, you're going to obviously see who's the better basketball player. I'm not talking about a guy with two moves. I'm not talking about a guy that got to dribble the air out the ball and wait for anything to come up. I'm talking about a guy that can get the ball and get to work. Not in the stat book, but on the basketball court. A guy that can go from anywhere, on the block, open up, mid-range, catch the ball, shoot over the top of dudes. At the three-point line, if you don't come out here, I'm knocking it down. If you come out here, I'm going past you. I'm talking about a guy that has multiple ways to score. How could you tell me that he's not a better scorer? When I already explained to you, back then, there was much better defenders. There was much less three-point shooting. The paint was more clogged up. And still, his stats are comparable. What does that tell you? In a time when it wasn't happening, he was doing it.
All right, fellas. All right. We cooking up. How we feeling right now?
I feel great.
Ooh, I knew that last round was gonna be tough, boy.
All right,
good shit though for sure, G. Good work, bro. Good work for real.
Yes, sir.
Hey, appreciate
y'all.
you brothers for coming up and cooking up. All right. Until then, we'll catch you guys soon. You guys got anything on the way out?
Oh, no, man. Follow me on all social medias at OgDaBeast_sports on everything. Y'all already know, man, if you're trying to tap in.
Y'all go follow right now.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Good work, OG. Good work,
yes,
OG.
Sir. Good work, Ox, man. Good shit. I love it.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way.